Greetings, greetings, all you men of excellence out there in the Milky Way galaxy. It is I am Adrian Pius, the voice of the Imperium, and I would like to thank Vox News for bringing me on board their network so that I can provide you, the glorious people out there, with your daily dose of total truth. We don't deal in half-truths here. No poorly researched truths or truths that fit neatly into a simplified narrative that literally explains everything that's happening on hundreds of billions of star systems. Nope. Pure, unadulterated truth on this channel here, folks. And we have quite a bit to discuss. We're going to be going over a number of different topics. There's the matter of an ogre planetary governor has really taken the media by storm, become something of a media darling. That the people's governor. We'll discuss him too. The existence of the tyranids and where their secret origins really stem from. And we'll talk about that as well. We'll discuss a popular topic, why you should never, ever deal with the Eldar. And this is really the huge one, folks, and that'll come later on in the show. But a completely unbiased and thorough examination of what causes heresy. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the methods that our Astra Militarum and the Adeptus Astartes, there's a difference in opinion about how wars should be conducted, and I have my own opinions on that as well. And I want to give the listeners out there in the galaxy, in the Milky Way galaxy, all of you wondrous listeners out there, just to let you know that the phone lines are open. And if you make a small donation to the Vox News station, you'll be able to take you live, answer whatever questions you have, and set you on the right path of truth and really getting to understand what's really going on there. How are we doing, Pad? We got signal coming in okay? It seems like we've got a couple people. Got Adrian, another anonymous viewer here, ready to hear the truth. That's what I like to hear. Pat will be screening calls, and if you have the opportunity, if you are able to provide donation, you'll be put on the air, and I will answer whatever question you have, giving you that lovely dose of truth. So we're gonna start at the beginning. A little bit of they're treating this like it is a light-hearted affair. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's all over the news, but the Governor Greg of Corimperi 5. Have you all heard of Governor Greg? Well, the old governor, Sumalis, was overthrown in a violent uprising. Overthrown, kicked out, gotten rid of. No longer going to be governor. So the people, and you know which kind of people, it's the unwashed masses, so to speak. They stormed the palace, and the Sumalis ran off and is hiding somewhere, and they named an ogre to be governor of an entire planet. I'm pausing just so that you can understand the absurdity of the situation. And things have been very difficult for Greg starting out, and he's already began to upset his constituents, you might say. And you're a fool if you think that Greg is really the one running the show. It's all the same power structures there. It's just you got rid of one governor, and now it's deep state bureaucrats making all the decisions. But that's not what is upsetting people. That's not what people are thinking about. The real scandal here is Picklegate. You've all heard about Picklegate. That Greg is a great lover of pickles and has used his position as governor to abuse and have access to as many pickles as he likes. And in indulging in his wild pickle obsession, he's quoted as saying that he has had too many pickles. And what happens when a government official says that there's too much of a product, too many pickles, there's too many pickles? Well, the pickle market collapses. That's what happens when you put an ogre who does not understand complex economic systems. That one comment that can be taken wildly out of context by the news media, blown way out of proportion, can cause an outsized effect on pickle prices. So with his numbers tanking, Greg is now on thin ice. He's not in the best of positions. Pat's telling me you all have some questions, and I'll answer a few of them. But I want to get through this ogre governor situation, and the real sad thing here is that the powers that be, the deep state, the administratum, what do you think they're doing about the fact that an entire planetary system is being run by an ogre? They don't care. It doesn't matter that now that Governor Sumalis is gone, things have economically improved by and large part. But it's the important thing is that Greg is completely unsuitable for rulership. He was elected by a mob, and I think it would make much more sense that perhaps you'd have someone who was a bit more charismatic, very handsome, maybe a touch on the overweight side, someone with impeccably coiffed hair, maybe somebody who runs a radio show might be a more suitable candidate for planetary governor than Greg, with his limited capability. So that's it's not a great situation, and quite frankly, extremely handsome cyborg radio hosts would likely do a much better job very easily, and they're available. There's plenty of them that are available. All right, so that's Greg. Pat says there's a couple of questions. I've gotten this question before. So Adrian, how exactly did you lose that arm of yours? Well, there's many rumors about it, and people have said, well, he skipped out of service. He paid his way out of the Astra Militarum, so he didn't have to serve. And then when that didn't work, when bribery attempts didn't work, he deliberately injured himself, putting out his eye and arm, just so he did not have to get shipped out to a hellscape battlefield. And I can tell you that is completely untrue. It was an unrelated tripping down the stairs and falling into the heavy machinery that we use here to make our Voxcasts. It was very. This is not a safe place. This is a dangerous thing to have to do. The work environment is fine, but being on the air in the way I am is extremely dangerous. And this is not, I repeat, not a stunt by me to avoid having to serve in the Astra Militarum. I of course would have served, given obviously that's what I would have done. All right, we got Pat has another call this time. Let's see what we have here. We got Niels Ebbison on the line. Hey Niels, what do you have for us? Hey Adrian, I don't think anyone disagrees when I say it's a disgrace to have an ab-human as a governor, and yes, a background in communications is certainly an important qualification. Well, I see where you're coming from, Niels, and I must say that you have a uniquely intelligent take on this. It just so happens to agree with my particularly intelligent take on this. So I tell everyone I have the smartest listeners who think about things and then say very, very hard and then say the exact same things that I do. Proof positive that I have the finest of listeners. So there's a more troubles. I'm going to come back to Greg in a little bit. I'm going to let you all ponder it and think on my own words until you eventually agree with them. But I think one of the larger issues here is the advent of tyrannids. That the tyrannids showed up quite some time ago in this millennium, and have been descending upon the Milky Way galaxy, growing in number, high fleet after high fleet, despite being defeated over and over again, just relentless in their attacks. And so this is where the patented Adrian Pius melt-a-bomb of truth is about to be dropped in the midst of the brain-dead Imperial Truthers wandering around, wondering how any of this could possibly be happening. And it's so simple, people. It's so simple that it almost makes it seem like I made it up, because a more complicated explanation would require work. But that's obviously ridiculous. It's simple because it's correct. Simplicity is pretty much the same as correctness, and everyone knows that. It's a simple thing to understand. But the Tyranids, where did they come from? Where did they come from? Some other galaxy floating in the midst of the blackness of space. Just endlessly, just floating there. I'm telling you that the threat of the Tyranids, I think, was created by the Tau. No, you say, Adrian Pius, that's ridiculous. I live in an ivory tower and have brains and do science things and read books. I don't need to read books to have my fingers on the pulse of this galaxy, to tell you people the truth as I see it, and not have some intellectual egghead telling me what I'm saying makes absolutely no sense, and I have no evidence to prove it. So why would the Tau create the Tyranids and then stick them on the planet, also ending up dealing with the threat potentially themselves? And the thing is, the all-consuming nature of the Tau notion of the greater good that has us all in neat little casts, and we'll all work together and all do what we're told and blindly go forward, which is completely different than the way we're told to blindly move forward here in the Imperium. It's completely different. Being forced to serve a particular role in the Tau is completely different than being born and working your way to death in a Factorium. That's completely different and obviously ridiculous. But no, the Tau so believe in their greater good idea, which has served them so well. They own the tiniest piece of the galaxy that anyone's ever heard of. They're so desperate, and they have all that their Tinker Toy weapons and all that, their highfalutin egghead technology. And who's to say they wouldn't have unleashed something this stupid on the galaxy? And of course, the answer is that they released these tyranid. They created this biological horror that can spread far faster than they can in order to create a galactic crisis, to force everyone to cooperate, to make us all come together and have no differences. We'll hold hands with Tau and Eldar and Necron and Orc, and we'll all dance merrily to the tune of the greater good and fight off the tyrannids, which have nothing to do with the Tau. Come on now. You all know that what I'm saying is true. Oh, Pat says we have another caller. This one, Lorenzo. All right, Lorenzo, you're on. Yeah, hey, Adrian. Speaking of threats to the Imperium, surely a man as smart and wise as you can definitely state whether or not Magnus the Red did anything wrong. I do appreciate that you would come to me for that opinion. I think everyone who listens to this show knows the answer. They know the answer. Everyone knows the answer. It's people who are in denial, who can't bring themselves to have the brain power to admit that Magnus the Red did everything wrong. There wasn't a single thing he did right. He tampered with warp powers. He did not communicate with his father. He did not obey the Emperor when commanded not to use his psychic powers. He made deals with demons. He ruined the Webway project. What did Magnus the Red do that was correct? Maybe that's a better question, Lorenzo. What is a thing that Magnus the Red did correctly? Maybe having his back broken by Lehman Russ. Maybe that was the one thing he did that was correct. So, Pat says he's got another question. This one from Vanguard. Pat's kind of picking through the questions, and I'll answer one more. Mr. Pius, he says, do you think the Tau's acceleration of technology is so fast, or why? Why do you think it's so fast? And I think, again, this is the acceleration of the Tau's tech doesn't make any sense. They've been around for what, 5,000 years, and suddenly they have, they have all their Tinker Toys. They got everything they need to start carving their way out, to be the one hope of the galaxy, as they would put it. And I think that's nonsense. I think that they're being manipulated and empowered, and everyone's Adrian Pius, crazy old Adrian Pius, saying wild, baseless conspiracy theories and passing them off as fact. if this wasn't based in fact, why do I sound so convincing when I say it? You answer me that. Why does it sound so convincing when I say it like it's the simplest thing in the world, and anyone who doesn't agree with me is stupid? Well, the answer is, who's behind all this? But of course, the Imperial Truthers. The squirrel, you think 5,000 years, they're going to surpass the mighty Imperium as far as technology goes? That's nonsense. It's patently nonsense. They're being funneled technology and being supported by ivory tower intellectuals to bring about this emperor's not a god, we'll all have this greater good nonsense. I got another call from our good friend Niels Ebsen at this point. Hey Adrian, I just wanted to ask, are they putting chemicals in the water that alter the sexual behavior of the slan? Another astute observation by our doubtlessly suave and debonair, worldly minded Niels Ebsen. The truth is that they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the slan gay. That's the simple. They're turning the frickin' slan gay. That's nonsense. Why? Why do we? How much money is being funneled into this? How much are the Imperial Truthers spending on this ridiculous experiment of theirs? Which the goal of which is, well, I haven't figured out what their goal could possibly be. So I'm just gonna make assumptions, and that's gonna be my truth. And the ultimate thing that I think the Imperial Truthers are trying to do is destroy the Imperium, because that's a logical goal for anyone that's alive, is to be not alive anymore, or having your soul devoured, or things like that. Exactly. So, I think we're ready to, I've gotten my blood up, so I think we'll keep. Yeah, I think this is a good, I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm not going to take it anymore. Let's get into the real questions here. The biggest news item of the day. What, in your mind, causes heresy? What causes good, hardworking, intelligent, lower middle to middle class Imperials to turn to heresy? Is it consorting with the very poor, consorting with the intellectual elites? What makes people stray away from the emperor? And I'll tell you, people, it's very simple, extremely simple, comically simple. It all ties into the war on Sanguinala. There, I said it. You go around and you always hear the same thing in the merchant districts, in the ration dispensaries, everywhere. Happy holidays. And this might be the most imminent threat to the Imperium as we know it. There's nothing more important than this. The fact that I can no longer say Merry Sanguinala, that the Imperial Truthers have shut it all down. Now, we got another caller. I'm going to have Pat put it on hold for a second. I'm going to get finished with my initial rant here. Imperial Truthers have shut it all down. Now, she'll say, Adrian Pius, is there a law that says you can't say Merry Sanguinala? Well, no. Well, is there any kind of social stigma on saying Sanguinala? Is it possible that the only people saying Happy Holidays is because it's Sanguinala also happens near Vraxgiving and New Year's, and they're all kind of together, and they just collectively call them the holidays? No, that's simply not possible. The only explanation is the Imperial Truthers are encouraging the use of happy holidays in order to undermine our faith and cause us to implode with profane warp energy and have our souls devoured by thirsting gods. That's the only explanation. All right, sorry about that. I had to get that off my chest, but we got Charlie Elliott on the line. Hey, Adrian. Tau think they're too good to go into melee and pay poor, disadvantaged Kroot to do their dirty work for them, and hashtag Kroot Lives Matter. It's very astute of you, Charlie. And again, this all ties into those intellectual elites that are then getting the hoi polloi, the really the scroungers of the galaxy, and fooling them into following what they say, and that, you know what they just want? They just want those sweet handouts. Those they're just, you know, appease the people with circuses and corpse starch. Now, going into corpse starch, I think it's a good time to hear from one of our sponsors. Sturkis brand liquid corpse flavor enhancer. After a long day, the last thing you want to eat is a brick of corpse starch. But in the hustle and bustle of the Imperium, sometimes there's simply no time for anything else. That or the outside world has been virus bombed, and the only food that you can get now is through reclamation. But there's a solution to the terror of bland food. Starkus brand liquid corpse starch flavor enhancer, using extremely secret ingredients, Starkus can turn any meal into a banquet. Starkus brand liquid corpse starch flavor enhancer, what in the world am I eating? We've got another caller. This is a very active call session. I think that's good. We're getting our word out there, people. Pius, our wisest choice. Tell us without censure, do the Tau mutate their own, endangering us all? I hear even they deal with Drukhari homunculus. Well, that was from BGC Vatan. And I thank you. It's an important thing to ask about, because if there's anyone who would try to cozy up to Dark Eldar and their homunculi, is the Tau. Now that might be a link in the chain of where they got their technology, where of course the Tyranids have come from, because we're already talking about it. The Tyranids help the Tau achieve all of their goals, and it's simple, so that must be where they came from. So thank you, BGC Vatan. Always good to hear from intelligent people who understand how things are going. So that's I've cooled down a little bit, but I want to touch back on the war on Sanguinala. It's the thing that makes me you want to believe that someone who's an Imperial Truther, that they're doing things out of foolishness. They don't know. They think they know what's going on. They believe that the Emperor didn't want to be treated as a god, that he wanted a Imperium based on science and not one of faith. And if that was true, I think the Emperor would not have a problem telling us this. But we have a book that tells us all about how the Emperor is divine. I don't know how you get around it. So you might think Imperial Truthers, they're misguided. They're not malicious. They're just stupid. They're just stupid. And they are stupid, but they're also evil. They just want, with no thought of their own gain, because they're going to be destroyed too. They just maliciously want to destroy everything for no reason, for absolutely no reason. That's why they don't want you to say Merry Sanguinala. They want to say Happy Holidays, and that is the biggest existential threat to the Imperium that we face now. Another, I'm gonna let that simmer because I know we've got a long show ahead of us, and I'm gonna need more coffee if I keep on that one. But maybe we'll loop back around to that one. I want to talk a bit about the Eldar. And you all are long-time listeners. The Eldar are a long-standing annoyance to the Imperium. They'll tell you that they used to have this grand civilization that ran everything, blah, 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 blah. But if you look, the expansion of humanity happened when apparently the Eldar were supposed to be at their peak. And I have trouble believing that the Eldar were ever terribly useful at doing anything. Now, one of the problems with the Eldar is you can't tell them apart. And if you're going to deal with them, and one group is at peace with you, another group that looks exactly like the one you just dealt with will cause problems. Look, it's very simple. You see an Eldar, you don't let it live. That's the way to do things. Not that you ever see them very often. They're very sneaky and duplicitous, and just wipe them out. Don't deal with them. The truce will happen after they're all gone. Of course, now we're hearing about truces with different sections, with the Ynnari and all this nonsense. Do you all know the goals of the Ynnari? The goal of the Ynnari is to summon a god. They want to summon Ynid, an Eldar god of death. That's what they want, of life and death. That's what they want to do. As if they didn't learn their lesson the first time they created a god. Or the last time they created a god. All right, we got Lorenzo coming back in at us. What we got? Hey, Adrian, what do you think of this? The war on Sanguinala is being perpetrated by a gene stealer cult. Lorenzo, you are a smart man because you see how this all connects together. Gene stealers, Imperial Truthers, the Tau, the Tyranids, it's all connected, my friend. All connected. See? If you look at things in the simplest terms and see connections without thinking too hard on it and confusing yourself, you get the answers you want. See? But look, the solution, as much as you have this whole group of terrible evil, the Eldar are just best to eliminate them, get rid of them. I don't understand why they do what they do. They're just a bunch of self-defeating weirdos, whether they're normal Eldar or the pointy Eldar, the clown Eldar, or the Eldar that ride on dinosaurs. No truces. Destroy them on sight. That's the Adrian Pius way. Come to snap conclusions about large groups of people, explain complicated political systems with a couple of words so that my audience can understand it, and then provide a simple, obvious solution. That's it. That's the answer. Whatever it was I said, that's the answer. There have been a lot, I can see a bunch of discussions and rumors about, I've heard these. Pat's saying there's a lot of chatter about Roboute Guilliman and how exactly he returned and possible collusion with Eldar elements that allowed him to return. And I think this is, once again, Imperial Truther propaganda. Again, the Imperial Truthers, the Tau, the Tyranids, what do they want? They want everyone to come together to fight the big, dangerous thing and have us abandon our principles that have served us for 10,000 years, and we've been doing just fine. We've been getting along as the Imperium for 10,000 years, and I think we can all say that everything's been going just fine. Why change things now? Why would suddenly the avenging son of the Emperor collude with a filthy Eldar? And there are, of course, more outrageous accusations of worse fraternization. We got to keep things clean here on the Vox News channel. That we're on the editorial position. I think this is slander, and I think it's a way of legitimizing the Imperial Truther position that nothing is sacred. The mankind is not better than anyone else. We're all just kind of getting along, and that's the way to do things. To just hold hands and ignore all the things of the past and ignore our proud tradition of destroying things that are not like us. That's the answer. If everything that isn't us is dead, then we have run of the galaxy. Just need to do it faster, I think. Just need to do it faster, and we need to get rid of all of these Imperial Truthers that are standing in the way of the manifest destiny of mankind. That's what we're talking about here. Now, speaking of wiping everyone out, there's some elements in our military. So again, this is all soft-headed Imperial Truther nonsense. But there are concerns that in waging war and in the mess of how terrible and horrifying war is, that there are some elements that want to stop, that they're caring more about civilian casualties than wiping out the enemy. All right, I'm about ready to tear into this one, but Pat says we got a good caller on the line, and we got attrition. All right, attrition, go ahead. Hey, Adrian, long-time listener from Deliverance on Belisarius' call. Is his original research heresy? And follow-up, did he remove the element of humanity from the Primaris? Thanks a lot. So, I'm gonna come back to civilian casualties, but let's go ahead and talk about Belisarius' call. And look, I'm not a scientist. I've never read a science book. I don't know anything about technology. I'm not part of the Mechanicus. While admitting that I have absolutely no training, I can safely say that yes, that he is committing heresy, but retroactively he's also been utilized by the Avenging Sun, which then makes my first statement seem weird. So I'm kind of going to backpedal off of that, and my answer is going to be kind of whatever. Yeah, so that's as clear as I can be. He did some stuff, and we're not dead, so it's fine. But yeah, hopefully that clears things up. Thank you, attrition. Asking the tough questions, and I'm giving hard-hitting, accurate, to-the-point answers. So, getting back to concerns about civilian casualties. There are some elements. The way you wage war is you arrive on a planet, destroy everything on it, and kill everything that's not human. And if there are civilian casualties, that's just the way things are. You're not going to carefully pick around. We fire really big guns that launch really big shells that have no guidance systems. Despite the resources to create these weapons are immense. The fact that we have easily jammed, or we have very rudimentary and easily jammed targeting systems. It's just the way things are done. You don't worry too much about civilian casualties. That's just not what you do. That compromises your ability to win the war. And so you have elements, and I'm not trying to. I think there are people who get bamboozled by the Imperial Truthers. And I think that's what you're seeing with groups like the Salamanders. Salamanders, you put them on a bunch of Xenos and they'll burn them right up. You can't complain about their attitudes towards the Eldar, the Tau, Necrons. Just get rid of them, burn them. It's a great idea. But they end up handicapping themselves in their ability to conduct war because they're so worried about the unwashed menials. Now the Salamanders, of course, had to protect the studio here. I would want them to, but when it's people who aren't me, and I, don't really sympathize with their position or identify with their group, I think the answer is pretty simple. That as long as I don't think of them as people, they're clearly not a good use of Imperial resources. Look, we have plenty of people, but there's only one Adrian Pius, so I think that keeping someone as important as me alive is the most important. And for everyone else, they're going to have to rely on themselves and not have to, if it was me, I wouldn't want to don't get stuck in a war zone. Go ahead and get out of the war zone. That's the answer. You don't want to be a casualty, then don't be in a war. That's the simple answer. I mean, listen. The people are too coddled in the Imperium these days. There's far too much whining. I don't want to live in my living quarters to be the size of a coffin. I don't want to work 20-hour workdays. I don't want to be converted into a servitor because I was too late to devotions. I don't want my planet to be exterminated. Boo, hoo, hoo. We've heard it all before, and we're sick of this Imperium that our fathers built turning into a bunch of wimps. And I think that's a good time to hear from our sponsors once again. I'd like to thank our sponsor today, Pius Plus Mega Testosterone Booster. If the Imperial Truthers are getting you down and you just don't have that pep in your step like you used to, use Pius Plus Mega Testosterone Booster. Trust me, the ladies love a man with the confidence of a man who has the masculinity and conviction to get into an embarrassing shouting argument with their family members over the Sanguinala dinner table. Buy Testosterone Booster today, I'll get your money, and your crushing insecurity and vaguely defined dissatisfaction with your life will vanish. That's the Adrian Pius promise. Now, getting back to the matter at hand, let's. Some of you are maybe new coming in. Going back to Governor Gregg, we've got an Imperium now that has no tolerance for hardship. They don't want to weather anything. They want everything to be easy. So that's what everyone wants. If we just have a governor who doesn't demand things of us, who's just a simple ogre, that's what they want. They want their leadership to just do what they want, to give them what they want, to coddle them, to take care of them, to give them as many pickles as they want. And we've seen how well that's gone for Governor Greg, creating a pickle crisis, and that's just the first day. All right, Pat says we got another one. This call comes from Blanket. Are Dark Angels... are you going to put him through, Pat? All right, he's coming through. Hey, Adrian Pius, just wanted to ask a quick question. Heard some rumors. Are the Dark Angels, are they traitors? Or are they loyal sons of the Emperor? Now, this is I think a lot of people believe this is a very touchy subject. And the truth of the matter is that the dealings of the Dark Angels are, got to be a little careful here. I want to be able to stay on the air. Let's put it this way. Things are better if the job gets done. When it comes to the Dark Angels, I think I know enough to not want to know how the sausage is made. We got a lot of great victories you can put on the names of the Dark Angels. Then you've got rumors going around that they're this way and that way. And I ask the tough questions, but I don't ask the tough questions that are going to get me killed. So, when it comes to the Dark Angels, I'll eat the sausage. I don't want to know how the sausage is made. Let's put it that way. So, I'm gonna move on to another topic, and this is going on as things become difficult across the Imperium, and we're beset on all sides as we are wont to be. Oh, before I get into, we got a Pat saying the switchboards are lighting up. I'll get into that topic after we listen to our wondrous, intelligent, handsome listeners. We got Vanguard on the line. Mr. Pius, have you heard the theory that there might be thousands more Tyranid hive fleets outside of our galaxy? Do you think we should explore? Well, I don't think we're going to have to look very far, because I think we have evidence, and by evidence I mean I thought it, so it's true, that the Tau are the ones behind the Tyranids, and how they're generating so many of them so quickly is something definitely to explore. But yeah, I think that is wild speculation. That's different from my wild speculation. Therefore, it's crazy. It's nonsense. It's conspiracy theories. So I think Vanguard, you're wise and good and proper. And Pat has also given me the word. I believe Vanguard is also you're detailing You're a news reporter, aren't you? You're detailing it was embedded, I believe, with one of the car skins, and they've actually picked up an ogre in Dale. I've been following that storyline. So for those of you who are familiar with the story of Dale the Ogre, Vanguard, if you take a look at his work, he'll detail what's going on with that. It's interesting stuff. So thank you once again, Vanguard. BJC Vatan coming back on, the good friend of the show. Let's see what he's got to say.
Look, Adrian, I just want to get your take on this. Do you think the new Eldar God is going to be the new terror? Is it going to make a new Eye of Terror? They're going to even need more Psychers, and that's going to mean it's all going to go very bad. Oh, BGC Vatan, I think you're talking in the language that we all understand, which is the language of unfounded paranoia and speculation, which is the best kind of truth. We know what happened the last time the Eldar made a god. We got a big mess in the middle of the Imperium, or the middle of the galaxy, rather, where every nasty thing comes out of, and you know, good old Abaddon shows up every once in a while and makes a mess and then leaves. So if they make another one, are we going to get another Eye of Terror? And if there are two eyes, we got the Cicatrix Maledictum, we get the Eye of Terror, and then we get another eye. We got two eyes and a mouth right there. We're just doodling for the Chaos Gods. And I think BGC Vatan is very wise in this, to have these unfounded fears, because it's not like the Eldar didn't make a bunch of gods before with the power of their belief, Cain and Isha and all the others, that they could somehow make one that would be like those ones, and nothing like the Chaos God. But I choose to only focus on the big mistake. So, yeah, I think BGC Vatan is right. After the war on Sanguinala, probably the next biggest threat to the Imperium is the birth of another Chaos God that will plunge us into endless anarchy and madness. So thank you, BGC Vatan. All right, so I was going to get into. I always enjoy having intelligent callers because they really enrich the program, and as everyone knows, I have the most intelligent, well-read, sophisticated listeners, while also simultaneously disliking egghead intellectuals who say things that I don't agree with. But it's good to just feel smart, rather than, again, I don't research. I see what's in front of me and come to my conclusions, which are always correct. Pat's saying that they got some confused listeners. For those of you joining us, this is the Adrian Pius show on the Vox News channel. I am the voice of the Imperium, giving you the news and opinions that are correct. Taking all the goings on in the galaxy and helping you all make sense of it. So, getting into my next topic of discussion, we have an issue, apparently, with prison overcrowding. So I have a question for you. We got prison overcrowding. You tell me someone isn't getting a lot of kickbacks for this. So you've got criminals, terrible, horrible criminals. What do you do with them? You want to make something useful out of them, or you want to get rid of them. That's kind of where I'm at. But here, let me tell you what we do with them. Is we have penal worlds. So, when somebody does something wrong on a planet, they get all rounded up, and they get all the criminals rounded up, and you put them on a big ship, and that ship flies off and goes to a penal world. And you got to get the resources for the ship, you got to feed all of them, You gotta send them off to another planet. That planet needs to be supplied. It is an enormous waste. Look, I'm gonna solve everything here the way I solve everything, which is, again, simple, not very well thought out logistically solutions to all of these issues. And here's what you do. We get rid of the penal system. No more penal worlds. Someone breaks the law, you either send them to a penal legion, make some use out of them, send them off to fight in the wars. They're criminals. They got to pay back their due. Go make them a penal legionnaire. That's it. Other thing you can do with them, plenty of fodder for servitors. They're not gonna act right. They're not gonna do what they need to do to function in the Imperium. Then servitor. That's it. Why are we? They're all useless lowlives. So why would we spend valuable Imperial resources on housing them when they could be put to good use? Well, Pat's saying we have a smart aleck on the line. He screened it out, but there's a smart aleck saying that your good sponsor Ultramar Rockcrete helped build prisons on those penal worlds. That is a wildly unproven allegation. Look, receipts and orders and paper trails are not real evidence. That's egghead evidence right there. That's egghead evidence right there. This is implying that any of my sponsorships are going to influence the way I conduct myself here on the Adrian Pius Show, voice of the galaxy, saying the truth that the untruthers are not truthy enough to truth Imperial truth. That implying that is what are we calling that, Pat? We're gonna go with defamation. We're gonna slander. We're gonna. Can we get litigious here? Yes. All right. Yeah, we're gonna just threaten litigation. Just threaten it. All right. I'm threatening you with the potential of a legal lawsuit in the hopes that you'll stop saying things or having people look into my business dealings and potentially compromising business arrangements. Speaking of which, I think we're going to hear another from our sponsors. Are you stuck in an endless siege as food runs short and everyone experiences the same problem? We've all done it. You have to ask the same question. Where do you put the bodies of your deceased neighbors? Well, with the Adrian Pius home cremation system, you no longer have to wait for government bureaucrats to do their job and clear away the bodies. You can put the power of body disposal in your own hands. With this easy-to-store 6x6x6 cremation cube, you can easily fit any standard 7x7 living unit. No more unsightly bodies ruining the scenery outside of your grimy viewport. The Pius home cremation system. Use responsibly. Please do not murder people and use the home cremation system to dispose of the bodies. Thank you. All right, Pat's saying we got a big supporter on the line, old friend of the show, Old Man Skeletal. Greetings, Overlord. Oh, go ahead. He's got to put him on. All right, we'll put him on. Greetings, Overlord Pius. I am Rapanak, the Triarch Praetorians. Hearing you as the voice of the Imperium, I have come to submit a formal complaint on behalf of the Silent King. We would ask that you please get off our lawns. Please and thanks. Damn it, Pat! I told you to screen these. Oh, he gave us how much? Huh? You're not kidding. He donated that much. Huh? Well, this particular old man skeletal, I will advise the listeners here, don't be on old man skeletal's lawn. How do I spin this? Pat, what you got any ideas here? This is a little off brand for us. Oh, all right. I got it. If you're on Xenos lawn, if you're on the lawn of a Xenos, then you're conspiring with them. That's there we go. Don't be on Xenos lawns. That's far too close to being to a Xenos. Ah, there we are. Yeah. See, no conflict of interest here in any way, shape, or form. Here at the Adrian Pius Show, there is only truth. There is no influence because of money. There's only the truth. The truth, nothing but the truth. So we got more questions. Pat's saying we'll take some questions from the audience. What if I'm an Imperial Guard soldier on a Xenos-controlled world? Are you saying the Imperium should just leave the foul Xenos be? No. You eliminate, you destroy the Xenos. Just clearly, if you are on Rapanaket's lawn, the lawn's awfully close. If you're on there, probably you're don't collude with the Xenos. That's the important thing. Let's stop thinking about contradictions that might undermine my brand here. Got another donation from BGC Vatan. Pius, why? You're going to put him on again, Pat. All right. We're going to put him on again. Hey, Adrian Pius, why not keep psychers away like in Prospero? That's not a bad idea. Hey, let's put some ideas together here, BGC Vatan. So what did we just do with the prison system? Get all the prisoners, put them on the get them sent on to be a penal legionnaire, or you convert them into servitors. So what do we have now? We have penal worlds that are not being utilized. Maybe it's not like we don't have a system of what we do with the psychers. The black ships come and take them, and the Sisters of Silence escort them to be sorted and put to use. I don't. This is one thing where I don't think that the way we're handling things is too far different. But we do, if we can clear out maybe some of the penal worlds, maybe we can get that in more. We can redevelop them into places where we can process psychers, because they're look. Well, suffer not the witch to live. We all know this, but the truth is, and you can't ignore it, is you have navigators, you have astropaths, you have to navigate. Everyone has to warp travel at some point, unless you're living and dying in a Factorium, which I occasionally need to take a little bit of a break, go to a paradise world, and relax a little bit. And if that means that some mutant has to navigate through a horrible hellscape, well then, that's worth it for me to get a couple of Mai Tais and a back rub. This is stressful work. I'm telling you. You get You get the dark angels breathing down your neck. You have Xenos skeletons threatening you and telling people to get off their lawns. It's Pat, you gotta do a bit. Just gotta. Well, moving on. Oh, Pat has a one of our listeners has pointed out what's wrong with living and dying in a factory. Exactly. This goes back to my whole thing of people are whining too much in this Imperium. They want to get coddled. They want everything to be taken care of for them, and they don't understand a good, honest life's work in a Factorium. I don't want to be malnourished. I want to be able to sleep. I want to feel like my work means something. Look, our fathers built the Imperium by working in Factoriums. Our fathers died working in Factoriums. That I'm, of course, not working in a Factorium now, but everyone who is should just keep doing that and stop complaining. Stop complaining. The thing you're supposed to complain about are the big wig bureaucrats, intellectual elites, Imperial Truthers, and uppity workers who don't want to work. So, all right. So we've been going on for a pretty good amount of time. We're going on for a pretty good amount of time. And I think we've covered some good things. We're gonna take a brief break. I'm gonna just run up. I gotta go grab something to drink. And I will return shortly, and we'll continue to discuss. We'll not be gone for long. Be about a minute or so, and we'll move on to the next topic of discussion. So I will return very shortly, Truth Seekers, and we can continue our enlightened discussion on how we're right and how everyone else is wrong. What we're going to do when we come back here, we're going to talk about how the theory of the Imperial Truth and the mindset of these people leads to each of the four flavors of chaos. So. We're gonna talk about that, so don't go anywhere. I will be talk amongst yourselves, and if any of you want to get on the line, Pat can queue you up for when I come back. I'll be one moment. All right, here we are. We're back. We got anything interesting going on? And Pat, what do we got on the phones? We got any kind of interesting discussions going on? All right, let's go ahead and get to discussing things here. And the truth of the matter is that those who call it's so ironic they call themselves the Imperial Truth, that the divinity of the Emperor is a lie, according to them. All right, but before we'll get launched into that. We got a BGC Vatan coming back in, really donating up a storm here. I guess kind of second only to Old Man Skeletal, whose donation we very much appreciate, and not being de-atomized is also we're very grateful for, so thank you. BGC Vatan. Listen, Adrian, what about this? Factorium strike equals feeding Slanesh. Be vigilant. leading right into what I was going to talk about next. BGC Vatan, truly a gentleman and a scholar, digging up the truth. Well, and that's what it is. You have the Imperial Truthers filling people's heads with ideas that maybe they shouldn't work in extremely dangerous Factorium jobs that can leave you missing maybe, say, a right arm or maybe a right eye, and accidentally having a lot of your hair removed along the sides of your head. And because you've been damaged, you kind of have to live a fairly sedentary life and put on weight. That's neither here nor there. The point is that you just have a bunch of, it's going back to the whiners. That's what the Imperial Truth teaches you, is you don't have the Emperor. You're not just serving the Emperor, you're serving yourself. That's what they're really saying. They're serving yourself. And what are Factorium workers going to do if they're not working in the Factoriums? They go on worker strike. Why? What do they want? Better hours, better food, lighting, and safer working conditions. Decent health care. Nonsense. That is complete nonsense. The reason that they don't want to work is because what are they going to spend their extra free time doing? Pursuing pleasurable activities. And where does that lead? Where does that lead? Come on, folks. You know what it leads to. I don't have to explain this, but I'm going to, because it pads out the running time of this show. And belaboring pieces of information and drawing it out is one of my best qualities. But look, the idle hands are a demon's workshop. That's it. If everyone keeps working, and by everyone I mean people who aren't me, because I work. I put on this show, and that's an immense amount of work. Do you know how much work it is to think about what you're going to talk about, maybe about an hour before you're going on the air, coming up with like a couple of topics of discussion, then drawing those out, and then just kind of coming up with poorly researched conclusions about everything? That's a lot of work. It's clearly just about the same as working 80 hours a week in a Factorium. So I don't want to hear about the complaining. Factorium workers, oh no, I can't do that. That's too much work. I need sleep. I want to spend time with my family. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, try working for 3 hours a week doing a weekly radio show. And that's real work right there. That's the real, I keep this Imperium chugging. That's the answer of everything. And if they don't have anything to do, what are they gonna do? They're gonna pursue pleasurable activities. They're going to and that's a stepping stone to depravity. They're gonna fall in with the Imperial Truthers. That's gonna undermine their faith in the Emperor. That's gonna lead to chaos. It's gonna lead to heresy. That's the way. That's the truth of it. All right, got Lorenzo back on the line. How's it going, Lorenzo? Hey, Adrian. Considering his close relationship with known Night Lord sympathizer Gone Bad Kurz, I have to ask if planetary governor Darby Hent can be trusted. Now listen, Darby Hent is a tough, no-nonsense governor who's tough on crime. He's brought in so many heretic sects to justice. And I think that we look at his record. What is he knows how to bring heretics and Xenos to justice. And I think I speak for my listeners and when I say I believe in Darby Hent. So I think that's pretty well universal. Exactly. Pat's saying that he made the Gothic sector. That's got to be kept safe. You know, you got a bunch of weird costumed heretics. Did you know that you've got that the weird the weird Raven Guard Space Marine who's been chasing around that what are they, the clowns, the Harlequin? Yeah, that he's been chasing a Harlequin who's been running around causing chaos in the Gothic sector. It's just, we can't have one Space Marine be the protection for an entire sector. This is he's got other things he needs to be doing, and it's not, the Gothic sector doesn't belong to him. It needs to be in the hands of good men who are tough on crime and light on government regulation, like Darby Hent. That we need to let's the war is the business of the Adeptus Astartes, and law and order is the business of the Arbites. So it's a good point, Lorenzo. It's a good thing to bring up. So thank you for the thoughts on the matter. Pat brings up another interesting thought. It's like we've already brought up gone bad curs, which I think Pat's gone through a number of the news stories, and there's apparently some orcs that are masquerading around as Imperial. They've made what is it they call the Orcperium, Depurium, something like that. Look, it is, and now they're talking about that there is the Navigate is a rumor. This is unsubstantiated rumor, and I think it is something being spread around by the Imperial Truthers, because it doesn't. This seems made up to me, and nobody's seeing this except navigators, apparently. But it's a rumor still being said. It's nonsense if you ask me. But apparently, navigators are seeing. You know, they use the Necronomicon, the Astronomicon, to navigate through the warp and safely, more or less, get to different locations. Well, that's apparently the rumor is that there's another beacon in a part of space that is green, and then there's more rumors that this is somehow like an orcish beacon, and that this is improving trade and the swiftness of travel in the area, and that's utter nonsense. There's no proof of that. And if you all know anything about the Adrian Pius show, we are all about the truth and proof here. And it's not like this wall that they're talking about hasn't been completely crushed. It's fallen apart. It's completely crushed. From what I understand, the Astra Militarum is breaking it all apart, and they're kind of taking all the worlds back that fell into this mess. So I am, but this all. So there's now orc factions that are trying to act like the Imperium. What does this stink of to you? Come on, Pat, listen for it. They're gonna know what this all links up to. So you got what does it all add up to? You got the Tyranids coming up, creating a catastrophe. You got collaboration with Eldar. You've got collaboration with Necrons. So now you have orcs that are trying to act like the Imperium, that are echoing. What does that all spell out to all of you? Come on. It all comes back to one thing. Come on. Who's behind everything that's bad? I gave it a name. The Imperial Truthers. Bunch of weak-willed wimps who don't think that we can conquer the galaxy ourselves and bring about the dominion of mankind. That we have to cooperate with the Xenos. That's what this is. This is some stunt that maybe the Eldar or the Tau have bamboozled some orcs into acting like the Imperium. To confuse loyal citizens and really bring into question in the minds of the citizenry where their loyalties lie. And that smacks to me pretty clearly of Imperial Truth nonsense. So, look, you want to fight the Imperial Truth? Go out now and say marry Sanguinala. Just start saying it. Once you do that, once we can win the war on Sanguinala, then we can win the war on the galaxy. That's my position. Somehow, that simple thing is going to roll back an ancient race of skeleton people that have been around since the dawn of time. We're going to be able to stop Eldar and Drukhari raids on us. The Ticatrix Maledictum will shrivel up and collapse in on itself, and the Chaos Gods will leave us alone and stop causing problems. Everything, all of this work the Imperial Truthers are doing to destroy the Imperium is going to roll back, and we're going to come back out swinging. That's the key to all of this. That's the key to all of this. So, Pat, what are we talking about next? We haven't really. Oh yeah, I ended up stopping right in the middle of again the Imperial Truth bringing about heresy. So we've talked about how workers' rights and basic living conditions and demanding them leads to Slaanesh worship, and let's talk about what else people want. What else do people want? People don't. They whenever we have what is it that if you tell people that they have rights and that they should be getting something that they're not, what does that make them? It's like, all right, you're supposed to be getting all these goodies. Supposed to be getting all these goodies. How come I'm not getting all these goodies that the Imperium's just supposed to provide to me? What does that make you? It makes you angry. It makes you angry. And what does anger lead to? What does rage lead to? Come on, people. You know it. I know it. Corn. So we've got encouraging people to be lazy and pursue pleasurable activity. Boom, Slaanesh. You've got people who are dissatisfied, and you're making them angry because you're telling them that living and dying a meaningless existence at a Factorium isn't something they should be grateful for, which they should. And so let's keep going. So what do Imperial Truthers also want to do? They want to let's fix things up. Let's work with Xenos. Let's change the way things are done. Now, come on. Where am I going here, people? Come on, Pat. Tell me that they know what's going on. Who's next? What are we doing? If the people are dissatisfied with the way things are, they want to change, and change comes from who? There we go. Zachary Weaver gets the great prize. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Zachary Weaver. Zinch. All the way to Zinch. Now, so we got connected all three. Now we got one more. Can I do it? Can I draw the connection? And the truth is, the Imperial Truthers are they're known to poor personal hygiene. They're overweight. They don't shave. Their hygiene is rather pathetic. And of course, if you know that, then where are we going here? Boom! You've just connected in the Nurgle. You got them all. They're all wrapped up in everything that's bad. And that's really convenient, because if you can tie everything that's bad to one group of people, then it makes solving the problem easy, which is getting rid of these negative elements. Getting rid of the Imperial Truthers trying to deny the divinity of the Emperor so they can support the divinity of false gods. That's the key to this, and they're gonna confuse the issue, because things are simple the way they are. You have the Emperor. The Emperor is the god of mankind. You have the Omnissiah, who is also the Emperor, but also the machine god is also maybe the Omnissiah, but might be something different, which is something that we just don't talk about, because that, it's not, we just don't talk about it. And it's all very simple is my point we all knew what we were worshiping. We all knew which direction we were going to. We all knew we were all on the same page, and now people are confusing the issue. And and again, everything's tied in. You name a group that's trying to destroy the Imperium, and that group is going to be knee deep, if not waist deep, if not neck deep, into Imperial Trutherism. BGC Vatan is saying it right. Pat's saying that BGC Vatan still on the line, still a loyal listener. Emperor is everything good, everything else is heresy. Simple as that. Mary Sanguinala. Every Mary Sanguinala, one Xenos drops dead from the incredible amount of truth spewing out of the mouths of intelligent, well-read, sophisticated listeners of the Adrian Pius show. For those of you who are still listening, just a reminder that we are taking calls. A small donation to Vox News and the Adrian Pius show, and you'll get your call read on the air. So, some people might say, I've been drawing a number of conclusions, and then people say, well, Adrian Pius, you're making an impossible leap. There's no evidence that the Tyranids were created by the Tau, that the Eldar colluding with involved in Roboute Guilliman's resurrection, and all these different things couldn't possibly all be part of one conspiracy created by the Imperial Truthers. You just have no evidence. The lack of evidence does not mean it's not there, people. Innocence is not proof that they're not guilty. It proves nothing. It proves nothing. What we want to believe is true is much more important than what's true, which is true. And that's just how simple it is, people. We're not doing rocket science here. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not very well educated. I'm not an egghead in the tall ivory tower. Just a man with a microphone that can talk and people can listen. And what more qualifications do I need to analyze the political situation of 100 billion star systems in the Milky Way galaxy and tell you all what the answers are. I think we don't. It's the simplest thing in the world. Come on now, people. Come on. All right, Pat's saying we got a question that might kind of interesting. This is from Lord Inquisitor Ricard Crane. Mr. Pius, according to the Adeptus Ministratum records, you have not paid imperial tithes in 13 years. Is this true? That is a vicious lie. I have made it very clear and made my records not public. But, there's no proof. And as we say on this channel, you need proof for any accusation to come to. And there's simply no evidence, regardless of any paperwork that might be produced by the Imperial Truthers trying to assassinate my character. So let's move on to something more pleasant. We got Marked Ashamed on the line. Mark Ashamed, go ahead. You're on the line now. Thanks, Adrian. Early ago, Alexandrian Jonas was claiming that the Adeptus Mechanicus were adding Xeno DNA into Astartes' gene seed. Now that Magos Call has admitted to it, what does that mean for the Primaris Marines? Well, I think, again, so that sounds like a complicated issue that has a myriad effect on the perception of Primaris, who, as we know, were instrumental in staving off the 13th Black Crusade and helping to restore order in the Imperium Sanctus, and then being able to start the Indomitus Crusade to secure everything. That's sort of instrumental in that. And then you kind of put in the complicated issue of what do you do with if they're adding Xeno DNA into that. And I just prefer to simplify everything and say that it's the Imperial Truthers again. That either, if there's a problem, they did it, or that this is not real. So I'm going to say that Alexandrian Jonas is an Imperial Truther, and let's just pick one of these out of the hat. Yeah, that satisfies my current narrative and helps continue it. Alexandrian Jonas is an Imperial Truther and is spreading false ideas in order to weaken Imperial resolve in the face of grave danger. So, thanks once again, Marked Ashamed, helping to keep the airwaves free for the correct opinions, which are mine. So, there's been... Is he a gene... Look, it's all connected. Is he a gene stealer or something? Look, it's all connected. The Tau made the Tau are in cahoots. The Tau, Eldar, and Necrons are all in cahoots with the Imperial Truthers. The Tau made the Necrons. They're forcing the intragalactic crises that we're facing now to force everyone to cooperate to make the Imperium a tolerant place where their degeneracy can spread and ruin us all. My simple answer keeps getting more and more complicated. Well, I'll work on making it more simple. Well, that'll be for next week. We'll see if we can bring it back down to being simple. All right. So there's been some discussion as of late regarding all right, we got old man Skeletal coming back. That's all right, Pat. He paid again. All right, here we go. It is I again. The Silent King has asked if you have any comment on the rumors of a stolen Satan shard. We require your input for our lawsuit against the Mechanicus. Now, well, Old Man Skeletal is supporting the Adrian Pius show, so we're gonna Pat. Can we do a tap dance here? Let's see if we can clear this up a little bit. This is really not good for the brand. All right, we're gonna call Old Man Skeletal a sanctioned Xenos. There, that clean our hands of that. But look, as far as ongoing legal issues, my lawyers have informed me that commenting on ongoing litigation is a little unwise. But as saying that this, in a plausibly deniable way, Xenos artifacts should not be tampered with. The man conquered the stars without Xenos artifacts, and also again, what do learning about Xenos artifacts lead to? It leads to things changing, and we know what change leads to. So appreciate it from both Old Man Skeletal and Mark Ashamed. Your donations help keep us on the air, saying the truth that is too truthy for the truthers to truth. Let's have another word from our sponsor. I would like to thank Pius Plus Mega Testosterone Booster in the face of the wimpification of the Imperium. The Imperial Truthers are really sapping your masculine energies, and you just don't have that pep in your step you used to. Use Pius Plus Mega Testosterone Booster, and believe me when I say that ladies of all kinds love a man with confidence who is really projecting strong masculinity and conviction to the point that he can get on the Voxcaster every week and give everyone their daily dose of truth with baseless assertions with absolutely no research being done. Buy Testosterone Booster today, and I will receive your money, and your crushing insecurity and vaguely defined dissatisfaction with your life will vanish. That's the Adrian Pius guarantee. Pius Plus Mega Testosterone Booster. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Right, so trying to bring everything together. We've talked about a bunch of different things. We've talked about solutions to the overcrowding prison crisis. We've talked about Greg the Ogre and in the debacle of the Imperial Truthers putting him up and the pickle catastrophe that's already starting to disrupt his administration, and we're only a couple weeks in. This is not going any better. The wimpification of the Imperium, fears of the civilian casualties, cries for improved living and working conditions, more free time to fritter away and succumb to terrible temptation. I would say we've basically proved that all heresy stems from Imperial Truthers, people who doubt the divinity of the Emperor, that the Emperor somehow wasn't the God Emperor of mankind, is just some sort of man Emperor of mankind. We've proved that the tyrannids are created by the Tau. We've proved that the Eldar, the Necrons, the Tyranids, the Tau, all in cahoots, and all driving the Imperium into ruin. So Zachary Weaver brings up another good point. What about the orcs controlling the stocks? That you have orc activity So I don't know. This is maybe a little bit arcane for all of you, but there's been a big disruption in the imperial economy because of orc mercenaries taking their payment in thrones. Which again, this is Imperial Truther nonsense. Don't deal with the orcs. But now they're they're disrupting things because they're using their ill-gotten gains to buy stocks in scrap yards. They're putting all of their so the idea is that big imperial groups can put bets on whether they think a company is going to lose in value, and then they can basically set the price of a stock, sell it, and then they'll make money if the company goes bad. But now orcs are manipulating the system and buying and investing in just scrap and junk, and it's disrupting the good thing is that it's making fools out of the big wigs that are embezzling all of the imperial money and trying to squirrel it away and profit off of the failure of companies. But it's again something it is still highly disruptive. And I'm going to simultaneously blame the event on the Imperial Truthers and the wimpy response where people have been muttering and whining and complaining about this manipulation that is also I'm going to put on the Imperial Truthers, that both the problem to begin with and then complaining about the problem. It just makes things a lot easier. All right, we got a BGC Vatan. Pat's telling me he's got another question. Adrian, during the Pariah Nexus raid, a Satan shard that was kept enslaved by the Necron saved the God Emperor Saint Ephriel Stern. How does that unravel the conspiracy against mankind? Listen, I don't deal in wild speculation and rumors unless I make them. So what you're talking about is as far as my ears, that seems like a pretty far-fetched conspiracy theory. It doesn't fit my narrative, and it confuses me. So I'm going to ignore that. That's going to be the way I. Eric Rayner brings up a good point. Grok's meat is obtained from lobotomized Groks. They give us stupid meat to make us stupid. Right. They want pliable, easy to sway people. They just want more Groks. They want humans to be Groks, and then they'll just sell us out to their various alien and heretic overlords. And that's the key to everything here. Not messy, complicated stories involving Catan shards and Necrons and the Emperor and Ephriel Stir. That makes me question my narrative, and I don't like it, so I'm going to ignore it. We're going to keep soldiering on. We've got the 2-hour time slot this week, so we got a good 15 minutes, and Eric Rayner bringing in more truth. Soylent Green is Grok's people. Exactly. More evidence for the grand conspiracy of the Imperial Truthers to sell out the Imperium to the enemies of man and just make us stupid dum-dums. The answer is simple. Galaxy is for mankind. Everything that isn't mankind get out. And then among mankind, if there are any heretics, get rid of the heretics. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. Wipe out all resistance, conquer the galaxy. Done and done. Some people might say it's easier said than done. I don't think they know how hard it is to sit in a chair and talk into a microphone for 2 hours once a week. That's real work right there. That's real sweat and grit, and is absolutely comparable to working 80-hour work weeks in a Factorium. I know what hard work is. You don't reach the top of the Vox casting networks by not working hard. So let's get another word from our sponsors. I would like to thank this week's sponsor, Sturgis brand liquid corpstarch flavor enhancer. We've all had those rough days where we just get home and you don't have time. Or maybe the orcs have been besieging your hive city for the past 6 years, and everyone's down to eating vermin or corpses, or maybe everything's been virus bombed, and the only food you can get is through reclamation. And then you're only stuck with corpse starch. So now there is a solution to the true terror of long siege. Bland food. Sturgis brand corpse starch liquid flavor enhancer using extremely secret ingredients that no one knows what it is. Sturgis can turn any meal into a banquet. Sturgis brand liquid corpse starch flavor enhancer. What in the world am I eating? And thanks once again to Sturgis for our many brands, to Sturgis brand liquid corpse starch flavor enhancer, to the Adrian Pius home cremation system, and to the Pius Plus Mega Testosterone Booster male enhancement product. Thank you all for supporting me. Thank you all for purchasing the true Adrian Pius brand trust. Because if it's not Adrian Pius, it's somebody else. And that means somebody else is getting your money. And if your money isn't going to me, it's probably going to heretics and Imperial Truthers and oh, all right. That's what we're gonna dive into now. Lorenzo brings up the big questions here. If the Imperial Truthers are so bad, why are they pushing for Taco Friday? That's why they're so bad. Taco Tuesday is where it's at. What constitutes an Imperial Truther? Listen, Lord Inquisitor Rykard Crane, if you really are a Lord Inquisitor, and if you are, that's Pat Reed. Is that going to be okay? Probably not. Oh dear. All right. I'm going to explain this in a way that is not legally compromising. But an Imperial Truther, there's been with the return of Roboute Guilliman, there's been a resurgence in, honestly, what I think is bold-faced heresy, is that the Emperor of Mankind, the God Emperor of Mankind, is not a god. And as we all know, that is nonsense and heresy of the highest order. It's completely nonsensical. And all right. Calm down. Let's bring it back down, Adrian. Adrian Pius, voice of the galaxy, voice of the Imperium. And I think what we've talked about the war on Sanguinala, but I think almost nearly as sacred is the hallowed institution of Taco Tuesday. There's nothing simpler in the galaxy than having tacos and then eating them on a Tuesday. Come on, Pat. This is primary scholar stuff. You know that you know taco starts with a T, Tuesday starts with a T, Taco Tuesday. Taco doesn't start with an F. It's not Faco Friday. It's not Taco Tri-Day. It's Taco Tuesday. Look, I'm not gonna. We got people talking about the taco priests, and I'm not gonna bring religion into it unless it is the centerpiece of my argument, which it is for the sake of Imperial Truthers. And it's not Taco Thursday. Thursday may start with a T, but it's a TH sound. It'd have to be Taco Thursday or Taco Thursday. Maybe those that are living in the County Cork subsector might say Taco Thursday, but maybe they get some kind of special dispensation. But it's Taco Tuesday. There's nothing that a respectable human being that has proper fear and awe of the Emperor is gonna be suckered into the heresy that is Taco Friday. Why? You give me one good reason why tacos should be eaten on Friday and not the day that tacos were made for. Taco Tuesday. Now we're just throwing wild things out there. Taco Day, any day that ends in Y. Let's just throw all of the rules, everything sacred out the window. Why don't we? We've got Imperial Truthers invading the phone lines here. That's what we've got. So what do I think of Aurelian Kane and his recent book, 15 Rules for Living in a Post-Millennium World? Let me be frank. I avoid reading whenever I can, but as far as I know, it more or less reinforces my worldview, but like with more words. So I'm going to give that the Adrian Pius thumbs up. And Pat, if give me some plausible deniability if that book actually doesn't is off brand. You got that, Pat? Pat's a great guy. Can we get a hand for Pat? Pat's the producer of the show, screens my calls, gives me a heads up on what's on the mind of the pious proud, those who dutifully listen each week to keep us on the air. Guardsman with crippling depression. My commissar makes me eat tacos on Monday. Please send help. That doesn't seem... You might be dealing with... I would like to know what Scala Progenium he went to. They gotta teach that stuff. Come on. They gotta teach that stuff where tacos are for Tuesdays. Oh, we got claps for Pat coming in. Claps for Pat. All right, yeah, give a good hand for Pat as he mans the boards, screens my calls, and handles legal questions as we keep going on. I got Lord Inquisitor Reichard Crane again. This Adrian Pius seems to be a completely reasonable and respectable imperial citizen. I cannot believe some of my colleagues view him as a heretic. Much appreciated, Lord Inquisitor. You are always welcome and a friend here on the Adrian Pius show, now that it's been revealed that you agree with my point of view. and are not going to lobotomize me and make me a stenographer or whatever it is that you would end up doing with me, putting me in a small box someplace. So that's a thing I very much appreciate. So got a thumbs up for Pat. Now let's wind things down and kind of we're gonna take some time to consider the truth that we have discussed here today, the truth that we're going to carry inside of us, and the different pieces of ammunition that we're going to use against other people that have different opinions of us. And if we can all just paint our opponents with a broad brush and assume that they all have the exact same opinions, we just, they're all Imperial Truthers. They all believe in the things that we say they do. That just prevents us from getting bogged down in some kind of dialogue where we understand where they're coming from and might be convinced that maybe there's some merit to something they're saying, or maybe they don't believe everything that we claim they do. That's all nonsense. What you want to do is confront what they say with the talking points that I've just given out to you verbatim. Repeat the things I say, and accuse them, even if they don't say it, accuse them of all the other things that we say that Imperial Truthers believe in. That will stop the discussion and turn it into a shouting match, and then nothing will get done. And if you're shouting at each other, you can't listen, and if you can't listen, you can't change your mind, and if you don't change your mind, you'll never be wrong. And if there's any truth that I want to send you off with, that is making sure that you are not listening to anyone ever. If you're talking, you're not listening. And that's the whole point of having a Voxcast. I can talk for a really long time, and I can sound really convincing about the things I believe, which makes them convincing to people who are inclined to believe and accept really simple solutions. So, yeah, Pat, you've gotten a lot of love here. Yeah, Pat's just rattling off all of the kudos he's getting. Are they just trying to sweet talk you, Pat? Trying to let them get on the air? Yeah, Pat's he's nodding. He's getting a little bit of a blush. Y'all made Pat blush here. Well done, everyone. So I think this is I think we have all had a learning experience here on the channel. We're all now armed with the facts and the truth that we need to really go forth and feel comfortable. Even if we're confronted with different facts or different opinions, that we can either come back with something that seems to answer those objections, or we can just get louder and shout louder and get really upset. And we want to make dialogue impossible, because dialogue leads to tolerance. Tolerance leads to acceptance, and acceptance leads to the destruction of everything we hold dear in the Imperium. Right, Lord, looks like Lord Inquisitor Crane is heading off. Must be on my way now. This is what Pat's telling me. I'll be off the Inquisitorial strike scheduled on your abode today, Mr. Pius. Oh, calling off the Inquisitor. Much appreciated, Lord Inquisitor Rykard Crane. It's Pat. I'm gonna chalk that one up to Pat doing some fast talking there. Thank you, Pat. You might be getting a raise here, Pat. But we're coming to the end of the 2-hour mark, and I want to thank all of you who have donated. Want to thank each and every one of you for supporting good old Pat our producer of this show. And we'll be back next week with we'll follow the news very closely, and thinking we might do I want to. It's a lot to talk about, so it'll take me a while to simplify it down. But we've got the conflict and Vigilus bears some discussion and how that all fits into everything, because that really is a battle royale with everything really going on, with Eldar running around and you got orcs and you got chaos and you got everything just happening in Vigilus. So I think that makes it. I think that really kind of sums everything up. All right, so thank you all for listening. This has been Adrian Pius, voice of the Imperium, voice of the galaxy. You all now have your truth. Go out and live it. Goodbye, everyone.